Where I am now, gas is almost $3.50. But just down the road, it's only $3.10, so I'm getting gas here. Once a stray, now a plump and happy house cat, my little man Marty lives a comfortable life. But the same can't be said for many cats. That's right, I am right outside a West Columbia home where you can see behind me, there's a lot going on. Now, Prisma Health is volunteering with Habitat for Humanity to refurbish this particular home. I was told before the project you could barely see the house from the street from all the overgrowth in the yard, but right now, it's looking nearly done. This is the system that handles the heating and the cooling in your home. So when the temperatures drop, it gets colder outside, you need to make sure you get a professional service technician to come in, clean it, and service it to prevent any accidents from happening. On a beautiful day like today, this street corner looks rather ordinary, but if I stood in this same spot in early October 2015, only my head would be above water. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, so folks are gearing up to grab their turkeys. But this year, avian influenza may put those holiday birds in jeopardy and leave farmers helpless.
We control what we can and kind of keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best.
Amanda Jones and her partner Joe run Doco Farms, a small heritage farm in the Midlands specializing in Thanksgiving turkeys. She's preparing to keep her birds safe from the virus this holiday season, since over half of their revenue comes from turkey sales. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention indicates over 49 million birds have been infected just this year in the U.S. And Dr. Julie Helm, the director of poultry programs at Clemson Livestock and Poultry Health, says this year the virus is highly deadly.
This will probably be the biggest animal health outbreak in the history of the United States.
For birds, the disease begins as a respiratory infection.
Essentially, the virus comes out of the respiratory tract, intestinal tract, and it hits all the organs of the body. And yes, it can be in the meat, and yes, it can be in the eggs. So that's why when we have cases like that in backyard or in commercial, those birds are not going to the food chain. We depopulate them, and then we dispose of them.
And when she says depopulate, she means
essentially we kill the flock, whoever's left alive, because usually the flock is busy dying.
Poultry typically catches the virus from wild waterfowl like geese and ducks, and wild birds with AI have been found in Charleston, putting stress on local flocks, including Doco Farms. But special measures are being taken to keep these holiday birds healthy.
We are able to control their environment somewhat, and by making sure they have clean sources of water, they're not interacting with the wildlife.
And their most reliable protection? 4 Great Pyrenees Guardians.
We're not going to get migrating birds landing in our pastures. Our dogs just aren't going to allow it.
Jones does what she can to protect her flock, so the only thing left to do is wait for Thanksgiving and hope for the best. For Carolina News, I'm Bryce Glenn. Gas prices in 2022 seem to be on a roller coaster with constant dips and spikes. Even within the same city, prices can range drastically. Where I am now, gas is almost $3.50. But just down the road, it's only $3.10, so I'm getting gas here. And others have the same idea.
I mean, the reason we stopped here, this is the cheapest we've seen on the way down.
Susan Christie and her husband are traveling from New York to Florida and stopped in Columbia for gas because of the cheaper price point. And the difference in gas prices might just make them stay out of the Big Apple.
It's actually making us think we're going to move to Florida. We're actually on our way down there to see about buying a house.
The current average in Columbia, according to AAA, is right around $3.20. But it can vary greatly even within the city. These price differences are also at a national level, and research economist at the University of South Carolina, Joseph Von Nessen, says it's due to a few reasons.
There are 4 primary factors that drive that cost. One is going to be crude oil. One is going to be the refining process itself. One is going to be the distribution and marketing costs. And finally, you're going to have taxes that go into that as well.
All of these costs will differ depending on where the station buys and sells gas, causing differences in prices just a few miles apart. Local stations say they really don't have much choice in how much they can charge because they are constantly adjusting to the different distributor costs. So when you decide to hit the road, make sure you shop around for gas because you'll probably find a better deal. In Columbia, for Carolina News, I'm Bryce Glenn. The fair is in full bloom, and so are the flowers. At the very back of the Canty building, in the shadow of the Moon exhibit, lies the annual Fall Camellia Show, growers from across the Southeast come to show their flowers and compete. One of those competitors is John Maker, the president of the Mid-Carolina Camellia Society.
We're looking at fabulous flowers here and comparing small differences to determine which is the best.
Hundreds of flowers compete, but only a few are chosen to sit here, on the winner's table. Highly trained judges like Marty Clark consider a number of factors like size and symmetry.
At you. So sometimes even things like how it's positioned on the table will influence the judging.
But some criteria are slightly unorthodox.
If it still has ants in it, usually the ants vote for the freshest. If it doesn't have any ants in it, it's not as fresh.
Some competitors bring all the support they have, like Carolyn Dixon and her teammate.
This is Sir Oswald Spencer Dixon.
This pup has never missed a show.
If I didn't bring Ozzy, I might as well leave and go home.
Though the competition gets heated, Clark says it's a great experience for all involved.
It's a unique opportunity to get together with a lot of other judges and nurserymen and people that grow and learn more.
The competition ends today, but the show will remain open through Saturday for fairgoers to enjoy. For Carolina News, I'm Bryce Glenn.